Hi guys, it's Sandy from Urban Rebel Designs. I wanted to do something a little different tonight, so I'm not going to be painting. Normally my lives are on painting, but I found this adorable little owl at Hobby Lobby today, and I just knew that I had to use him in a fall wreath. And since I need one for my front door, hi Pam, I've got something for you in a minute. I needed one for my front door, so I decided that I would just go live and make a wreath on here with you all. If you have any questions during this, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm set up kind of weird, so I may have trouble seeing the questions, but let me know. So we're going to get started, and I'll go through everything that we're going to use. But before we start, I wanted to show you if we can get 30 viewers on here tonight, and we have 2 now, then I'm going to give away one of my favorite brushes of all time. It's a 1.5 inch Chalk Pro Plush. This is the Shorty Angled Edge. I absolutely adore these brushes. So if you like this, then please share, and if we get up to 30 tonight, we'll give this away to one lucky viewer. So let's get started. I'm going to take you through what I did to set up my work wreath. This is a wreath form that I think I got from Dollar Tree. You can get them for about $1 there. You can get them other places like Dollar General, Hobby Lobby, I think sells them. I happen to like the ones from Dollar Tree because the way they're set up, it's just easier to work with. So all I did was I took some pipe cleaners or chenille stems, fold them in half, and cut them. And that's what I'm going to use. I went around on the bottom row. This has 6 sections. So on the bottom row, I put a half of a chenille stem, and the way that I do that, on the top row I put 12. The way that I set up my chenille stems is I just fold them in half, and I'm going to give it one good twist, and then I'm going to pull it back. That sets us up. We're ready to make this deco mesh wreath. Hi Tina. What we're using tonight is this is a 30-yard roll. We won't use all of it, of this gorgeous sparkly orange deco mesh. We're also going to be using, this is a 10-inch roll. It's 30 yards, 30 feet. Kind of looks like candy corn to me. Then we'll have our little owl. We've got 4 different kinds of ribbon that we're going to use. Have this beautiful orange with the gold pumpkins. And then we have this gorgeous glitter. I don't know if you can see how much that sparkles. This reminds me of candy corn too. So this is 1.5 inch. This is 2.5 inch. I always use wired ribbon. It's just a whole lot easier to work with, and it holds its shape a whole lot better. Then we have this beautiful plaid. This is 1.5 inch. And look at how pretty this looks with Mr. Hootie Hoo here. And then we have a 2.5 inch fall leaves. Now, if you've ever seen any of my wreaths that I make, you know I like them big, I like them sparkly, I like them gaudy, I like a lot of stuff on them. So this looks like a lot, but it's gonna go pretty quick. Pam, I do want to show you what I found for you today. It will be coming your way soon. I found this in the Halloween aisle at Dollar General, but it is so cute. So like I said, when we get up to 30 viewers, hey Billy, I'm going to give away the 1.5 inch Shorty Angled Chalk Pro Plush Brush. So let's get started. I like to start in the center of the wreath. I'm going out of camera here for a minute. And pardon all the mess. We're in my home studio, and it's a working studio. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the 21 inch deco mesh, and I'm just gathering up this end. It's going to be hidden, so it doesn't really matter, but I do try to keep it fairly even. And I like to start on the inside. I'm going to have to move this over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where I gathered it up, I just put it in, and I'm going to give it one good twist. Now, I happen to know we're going to do 10-inch poofs on the inside, 12-inch poofs on the outside. I happen to know because I have made so many of these that from here to here on me is 10 inches. So all I do is, and this may have to go in the floor. Mr. Hootie Hoo's got to move. So all I do is I'm going to measure to my elbow. That gives me my 10-inch poof. And I've got a string here. By the way, these scissors are Wreath titanium scissors that I got at Home Depot. They are amazing. I can cut through just about everything with them. I think they're about $15 or $16. So we have our first poof. I went to the next tie, one good twist. And I'm just going to keep doing that back to my elbow and to the next tie. And this is going to look kind of messy before it looks good. But that's okay, because we're going to go back and we're going to poof everything out. So pull that down pretty tight and one good twist. The reason that I keep saying one good twist is because if you do 2 or 3, we're going to be using these to put our ribbon tails on. And if you do 2 or 3 twists, they're going to be too short. Hi, Audra. So we're just going to keep doing this till we get all the way around, and then I will show you how to move up to the second row, and we'll do our 12-inch poofs. Y'all help me out. If I miss a question, just keep posting it till I see it. So, has everybody had a good day today? Hi, Candy. Oh, Audrey is saying one twist. Yes. Audrey has taken some of my Wreath classes. I don't know why I'm getting strings here. So she knows that I preach one good twist. And we're almost, we've got one more loop, and then we'll go up to the 12-inch. So I'm back to where I started, and this is where I'm going to cover up the little raggedy end. So here, I'm not going to untwist this one, so it's going to make it a little difficult in a few minutes, but that's okay. We can deal with it. These are just pipe cleaners. So we're up to 16. If you're enjoying this, please share it. When we get up to 30, we'll do the giveaway. Okay, here we're going to jump up to the top row, and this is where we're going to start with our 12-inch. And what I've done is I'm just pulling it a little bit tight. I'm going up to this one, and I'm going to hold it right here before I twist it. Because, no, I'm not. I'm going to twist it because I'm going to make a loop right here. And now I want to start with my 12-inch. And I do this the easy way. I use a ruler, or if you have a paint stir stick, they're 12 inches. So I just put it where I've twisted this first one, and I'm going back, and I'm gathering at 12, and here's where you'll start seeing it fill in. I've never made a wreath on a live before, so I'm a little bit nervous. So bear with me. And I don't have any help filming tonight, So I don't have anybody to help me read off the questions. And we're gathering up another 12 inches, and we're just going to go all the way around. And this part's a little bit boring, but that's okay. This is your base, and when I start putting stuff on, somebody is going to say, why are you putting so much stuff on and covering up all your orange? This is just our base. So Pam did a live just a few minutes ago about blending, and she did a base coat in burlap. And this is sort of the same thing as your base coat. And here again, one good twist. And then we're going to go back. You would think as many of these as I have made, I would be able to pull up exactly 12 inches. On occasion I can. Sometimes I come up short. So I see that I have a lot of painters on tonight. I'm just curious what you all like to do when you're not painting. On occasion, you've got to quit painting and do something else. And this is one of my things, because I can sit in here for hours and make these and only talk to myself. And yes, I talk to myself. Pam said she loves fall wreaths. And thank you, Billy. Billy, where's Ellen tonight? I haven't seen her. Pam likes to kiss dogs. I have 5 little ones, so I do a lot of dog kissing myself. I have 5 little ones and a husband, and he's watching, so he's going to appreciate that. Hi, Ellen. I'm sorry, I missed you when you came on. Hi, Betty. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can guess right at 12. I'm a little bit over. How many people on here have made deco mesh wreaths before? Okay, oh, Betty, you sew? I can't sew. Cannot do it. My husband got me a sewing machine for my birthday or Christmas one year, and I decided I was going to teach myself to sew. I sat down at it. I was going to sew denim, had the wrong needle, it broke, flew off at me. I've never touched it again. I know that's bad. I have a feeling though if I could sew I would be dangerous. So we're almost at the end. And when we get there, that's where most people go, because I'm just going to cut it and I'm going to hide the edges. Can everybody see this okay? I tried to set it up where you could see what I'm working on rather than me, because I really don't like being on camera. I'm an old lady. And I'm down to my last 3. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, good. Oh, listen. This can be as addictive as painting furniture. And one thing I like about making wreaths is you get to use up a lot of odds and ends when you're making them. When I get this finished, I'll show you if I can make this big enough, which I don't know if I can. I may use a circle monogram from Sinopoly. Shout out to Sinopoly. Alright, so we're back to where if you can see this, this is where I pulled it up to start my next row. So I'm going to lose a little bit of my chenille stem here, but I'm just going to double this up. And I'm going to go as tight as I can to save as much. So now I'm just going to use my whisk scissors, and I'm just going to cut it here. I want it long enough, and we're through with that. I want it long enough that I can tuck it under. So I'm going to tuck it in here, and boom, it disappeared. So this is where you can start fluffing out, or you can wait until you're finished to start fluffing. I think I'm going to wait until I'm finished so I don't keep you all on here all night. If we have enough time at the end of this, we'll make a really simple bow. That's something else that I like to do, is make bows. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the 10-inch deco mesh, the one that looks like candy corn. I've cut, I'm hoping I've cut 18 pieces. I may have only cut 16. But I cut them 12 inches long, and we're going to make ruffles. So all we do, and I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute so I can show you. I'm going to lay it down where it curls down toward the table. And then we're just going to go through and we're going to gather it up, and it makes like a little ruffled bow. And we will go through and put one in each of our stems. And naturally, I picked the shortest stem first. So I always, and you can do this however you want to, I always work from the inside out. So I always start on my inside row and work to my outside row. I do it with the ruffles, with the ribbon tails. That's just how I can keep up with where I am. And this is also where you have to go through and start finding your stems, and on occasion I'll miss one. And when you're doing your ruffles, it doesn't really matter. When we get to the ribbon tails and we're trying to keep everything uniform, that's when it will matter. So again, when I'm putting the ruffles in, I'm pulling the stem tight and giving it one twist, and then turning it and moving to the next one. I went ahead and pre-cut everything tonight so you didn't have to sit here and watch me. And honestly, all of my wreath making stuff is at my downtown studio, so I didn't want you to watch the strange way that I cut everything. So I said that if I can make it big enough, and once we poof it out, it'll be a lot bigger. I may try to use this gorgeous circle monogram that I got from Sinopoly. It looks like it may be a little bit big, but I am determined, let me get that hung back up, to make a wreath and use one of those. So I may have to order one that's smaller. If you all haven't checked out Sinopoly, they make some awesome stuff. I hope everybody watched Pam's live tonight. There's Ellen. Say hi to Ellen, everybody. Tell you what, my husband is watching from the living room, so, and he won't say anything on here. So everybody please embarrass him and say, hi, Brian. Or the ladies in my private group call him Cabana Boy, and he hates that. Okay, Brian, Pam said hi, so you have to say hi back. Pam, I got my food delivery today. I would have to hunt the neighbors down if they delivered it somewhere else, because that would mean I would have to go to the grocery store. Oh, I don't believe it. He commented. Okay, so I think this is the last one on the bottom row. And, yep, that's the last one on the bottom row. So we'll move up to the top row and get these done. And then we'll move on to our ribbon tails. I will tell you, once you get into a rhythm with this, it flies by. The hardest part will be attaching the owl, and we'll probably have to do surgery on him. But that's okay. I've done worse. But I hope you can begin to see why it's so important to just do one twist. I'm having trouble seeing the comments. So again, what we used for the base was 21-inch roll of deco mesh. This is orange and it has like a glitter stripe through it. And for the ruffles, we're using 10-inch. It's orange and white and yellow. It looks like candy corn. We have Mr. Owl, I call him Hootie Hoo, that we will be using as our centerpiece, and we have 4 different kinds of ribbon that we're going to use for the ribbon tails. And if we have time, we'll make a bow with 4 different kinds of ribbons. So there are a couple of my local people on here, and they can tell you that I have a bit of twisted sense of humor. Oops, there's my dogs. They must have heard something outside. At my downtown studio, I had somebody who left me, I call it an Instagram, on my car about where I was parked, because I was parked in front of my own shop. So my solution was to make a giant car bow and put on top of my van. So I do kind of like to make bows. Okay, how many more? Got just a few more to go. I'm hoping like 4, because that's how many ruffles I have left. There are so many different ways that you can make deco mesh wreaths, and I think I've tried about all of them. I have made mailbox saddles, have made door swags, Christmas trees. Yes, Miss Pam, that's your babies. That was probably either Maddie or Zoe, because they're the two who can hear anything and run outside, and they will bark at fox and hawks. We have to watch them. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm going to be a couple short. That's okay. I'll show you how to cut them. Do any of you all have the Pro Bow for making bows? If you do, that's normally what I use to measure out like my 10-inch mash and my ribbon tails, but it's at the shop. So, I have to do it the old-fashioned way, which means I wrap it around my paint stick. Yep, I'm going to be too short. Oh, I'm 3 short. Okay, so this is how I do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm just going to pull it up and measure it. So that would be 2. Right down. And there's 3. So is there anybody on here who is gluten-free? I have been gluten-free for probably 6 months. And lately I have been craving biscuits and gravy. Being a good Southern girl, gotta have my biscuits and gravy. So I'm so excited because this week I found gluten-free gravy mix. And I still have not perfected making gluten-free biscuits. If anybody on here has a good recipe for gluten-free biscuits, please send it to me. There's our other 3. While I'm doing this, I'll let you know that I have a kitchen update class coming up on September the 8th. If you're interested in that, let me know. In that class, we do 4 different paint techniques on cabinet doors, and I supply the cabinet doors. We also learn how to paint laminate countertops and ceramic tile. That's Saturday, September the 8th from 11 till 2, and I'll even provide lunch. So if you're interested in that, you can either give me a call or you can send me a private message. Okay, one more and we get to the ribbon tails. We're up to 15. When we get up to 30, I'm giving away the Chalk Pro Plush Brush. So if you like this video, I know it's not painting tonight, it's a little bit different, then please share it. And when we get up to 30, we'll do our giveaway. Oh, Betty, celiacs. Yeah. Wow, you've been gluten-free for 6 years? No, you're 6-year-old, okay. Okay, so we have all of those in. I don't think it shows up really well. I've got too much light on in here. But now we're going to move on to our ribbon tails. And what I did was I cut, hopefully 18 12-inch strips for each of the 4 ribbons. So there's 3, here's the 4th one. I just love this one with the pumpkins. So I have to figure out how I have these. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and then I dovetailed the edges. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to take one of the plaid and one with the leaf, and we're gonna put it together. You're gonna fold it in half. That way we know where to squish it. And then we're gonna squish it just like that. And we're gonna go back to the inside. This is where it starts getting full and it starts getting harder to see. So we're gonna start right here. And again, just one good, just pull it tight and one good twist. And then we're gonna make an X with our ribbons. So can you see how, that doesn't show up real well, but how I've made an X right there. And then we're going to alternate and we're going to go to the pretty stripe and the pumpkin, and we're just going to do the same thing. And I always put the 1.5 inch on top of the 2.5 inch. That way you're not fighting with it once you get it in your tie. I did that one upside down. One good twist. And then we're going to make an X. So I'm just pulling these this way and the other 2 the opposite way. And then we go back to the plaid and the leaves, and we'll just do this all the way around. Now I try to make sure that I don't put 2 of the same kind together. When we get up to the top, we're going to have to see where we are. A lot of times I will go ahead and do my bow if I know I'm going to be using one. I'm not so sure on this one, but if I know I'm going to be using one, a lot of times I'll go ahead and make my bow before I start this, just so I can figure out where to place it. And you may be able to get by with not using as many ribbon tails if you do that. All right, here is the one that's short. Thank you. Like I said, I like them full, I like them big, and I like them sparkly. I think I have glitter in my veins. Okay, so this one, this tie is a little bit short, so I'm gonna have to fuss with it just a little bit. There we go, that wasn't too bad, but I did match that. Sometimes I lose track of where I'm supposed to be with the ribbons. Now, if you've got one like I found right here where my chenille stem is real short, you can untwist it from your ruffle and twist them in all at the same time. Okay. Almost finished with the bottom row. We'll go to the top one. So when I move up to the top row, it's going to be difficult because I ended the bottom row with two different ones. So there's going to be one up here in the middle that looks like it's next to one that's the same, but it will all work out. And I have done this with 4 or 5 different ribbons. That gets to be a little much to handle. Okay. That's our first one on the top row. Yay. I just got some Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. I haven't used it very much, so I'm anxious to try it. Hi June, how are you? Let's see if I can count, see if I come out even. Anybody want to take any bets on whether or not I have to cut any ribbon tails? Let me tell you something. It's a whole lot easier to paint on a live than it is to do this, because I feel like I'm boring you. Oh, I've done the pull-through method, Betty. This is much easier. And I think you use less material too. I'm cheap. I like to save where I can. I tell my husband that he's the luckiest man on earth because I'm so cheap. I'm so cheap that I save him money when I shop. He kind of doesn't believe it, but it's worth a shot. So does anybody have a question that they would like for me to pull them up on camera with me and they can ask me? I am happy to share the camera. And we have just a few more. When you get to this part, the hardest part is finding your ties, because they can get lost. I should tell you that I found all of this stuff at Hobby Lobby, and they were having their fall stuff was 40% off today. And when I found the little owl, I just couldn't resist. Oh, yep, I'm gonna have to cut one. Have to cut one of the pumpkin ribbon tails. I was afraid of that. See, I can't talk and count at the same time. It's a little concerning. It's awfully quiet in here. I wonder what my dogs are up to. Pam, what are your dogs doing right now? Or are you even home yet? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this other one that I need, and I'm going to cut it a little bit long so I have room to dovetail. And for those of you who don't know what dovetailing is, it's just making the little V tails. And the easiest way to do that is to fold your ribbon in half, and then you're going to cut from the folded side to the open side. And that gives you your little dovetail. So I'll do both ends. And I save my little scraps because I have a friend who works at a nursing home, and her residents love to play with these. So I put these in a baggie for her, and when I see her, then they have new toys. We're almost finished with this, and then we will get to attempt to put the owl on. Oh, yours are sleeping right now. Mine may be. They had their dinner and they usually nap after that. Last one. Okay. So good, we ended up correct. I have the pumpkin next to the leaves and the pumpkin next to the leaves. So this is where I would start fluffing everything out. I'm not going to bore you with that because I can do it after I get the owl on. But this is what we have so far. And you'll notice when I hold it up, it's a little bit see-through. When you fluff everything out, when you fluff all of your poofs out and you straighten up your ruffles, you're not going to be able to see through this. So now we have to figure out where we want Mr. Owl. And I usually hold it up and look at it, and if I have a weird spot or a bald spot, that's where I'm going to put him, or that's where I'm going to put my bow. So I think I want him right here. What do you think? Does that look okay? All right, this is where we have to start doing surgery because we've got to get 2 of these in his back. And I'm going to see if so I have this, I call it a pokey thing. I think it came from Harbor Freight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a hole, in the back of his head. If I can get it big enough. And then we're just going to try to scoot this through. Sorry, I'm having a problem getting it through. There it is. Come on. This is where I need, I think, the crochet hook. Yay! All right, so we got that one. Now we just have to do the same thing on his little bottom. And this has crinkly stuff in it. Let's see if we can get this one in. I told you this would be the hardest part. almost got it through. If you have floral wire, the green, I think it's, sorry Billy, I know that looks like it hurts. Can't remember the gauge of the floral wire. It works really well for this. And you know what, we may end up having to just use the one on his head. There we go. Yay! Okay. So this is, it's really easy to do if you have a wreath stand, which I don't have here. So I'm gonna have to stand up and see where to place him and where I can go through. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to go to attach him. I'm gonna try to go between my poofs and attach him there. So let's see how well I do. So I'm gonna start with his little head. Go. And I'm just pushing through my wreath form. If I can find my wreath. There it is. Okay, so here is the back, and I'm just going to come through, and I'm going to pull him as tight as I can, and this I'm going to twist off 4 or 5 times. And I'll go back and I'll clip these edges, but for now I just want to get him on here. And so this one I want to attach right here. The same thing, and I get both of them through. So I'm just coming through, and I'm going to pull his little bottom as tight as I can and twist 4 or 5 times. And that sounded really cruel. So this is what we have so far. What do you think? So I promised you that I would teach you how to make a bow if we had time, so I'm going to do a really quick one. This one is called a terry bow. It's just named for the lady that invented this type of bow. So I'm going to take another chenille stem and I'm going to fold it in half. And this is going to be what we attach everything to. So I want the center loops to be 7 inches long. So what I'm going to do, or to be 7 inches. So I'm just going to measure out, if you can see, to 7. And that's going to be my first loop. Now a terry bow has 3 loops and 2 tails. So here I'm just going to come over and make another loop on this side. And then I always pull them up to make sure they're even. So I have 2 loops and a tail. And I'm just pinching it in the center. So I need to make 1 more loop on this side. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to cut the tail a little bit long. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this off with my chenille stem. So we have 3 loops and 2 tails. And I'm just going to do this one time because we're going to be untying this and adding to it. So what we have here is we have a head, we have 2 arms, which are kind of long, but we're going to cut those off, and 2 legs. So we need to go to our next 1.5 inch ribbon, and we're just going to do the same thing. I want my 1.5 inch ribbons to have 7-inch loops, and then the 2.5 inch ribbon we're probably going to do 9-inch loops. And again, I'm going to pull them up. That one's a little short, so I'll straighten it out and do it again. There we go. Now we have 2 loops and a tail, so we need 1 more loop and 1 more tail. And we're going to take that one off. So what we're going to do here, so we have the head, 2 arms, and the 2 legs. We need to put this one the opposite way. So we have our head, our 2 arms, and our 2 legs. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to lay this down. Let me move this so you can see this. We're going to lay this down, and I'm going to hold it, but I'm going to untwist that. This is where it gets tricky because you got to hold it. So I want to put this head between these legs, and that sounds terrible, but that's the way you do it. And then we're going to twist this off one more time. And here we have our center. And we will, when we finish the whole bow, we'll go through and fluff it out and we'll attach it to the wreath. So now we need to move to our 2.5 inch ribbon. And like I said, I wanted 9-inch loops on it. Longer tail. So I'm going to squeeze that there. And right there's my loop. Okay. I'm going to check and make sure they're even. They are, so I need 1 more loop and 1 more tail. Going to just do the same thing. So I'm going to untwist this one more time, hold it down, and make sure. So my last one, here's the head and here's the 2 arms. So this one is going down with the legs. I'm not making a big giant bow for this wreath because I don't want to cover up my owl. And we're going to do that one more time with the gorgeous pumpkin ribbon. Check and make sure that they're even. And 1 more loop. And So now we have all 4 of our ribbons in our bow. So I'm going to pull this really tight and I'm going to twist it off about 3 times. And now we're going to dovetail all of our little arms. And I try to keep the arms about the same length. If you're a little bit off, it's okay. It's okay. Last one, and we can fluff. Okay, let me get my ends up so I can take those to Tamara. And now we're going to fluff. I'm going to fluff it now, but I'm probably going to squish it when I put it on the wreath, and we'll have to go back and refluff. And so there we have our funky little terry bow. This one needs to be turned. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to put my bow I'm going to put my bow right above Mr. Hootie Hoo. So all we're going to do is the same thing that we did to get him on here. We're just going between the loops, trying not to drag any of the ribbon. Just going between the loops, and we're going to twist it on the back. So I've pulled it through, I've pulled it tight, and twist 2 or 3 times. And this is when we can get rid of the excess. And now I'll just use one of these back here, and I'm just gonna twist it on. I better make sure where it is, yeah. To make my hanger. And I just kind of tie a square knot with the wire that's in this. It makes it really, really strong when you do that. And so we have our hanger. If it's too long, you can twist it here. It's not going to look the best, but it will work, and that way you can see how I made it. And so there we have our fall wreath. So let me look in here and see if we have any questions. Oh, I love the striped ribbon too. Have I missed any questions? Yes, I always use wire-edged ribbon. It's just so much easier to work with. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a little different. I'm gonna work on fluffing it out. I'll post a picture of the finished wreath hanging on my door later. It'll probably be tomorrow. I know it's not painting, but I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight. So I hope you all have a good night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.